Good morning, church. I want to thank God. I'm here to give thanks to God and also thank the shepherds of this church, Pastor Ashirwad and Pastor Mercy, for giving this opportunity to share a small testimony. And a lot of you know that I recently God blessed me with a vehicle. The testimony is not just about that, but like Anna said, this year we started the word of this year for the church is breakthrough. And he said, he picked up a words from Isaiah and said, the burden on our shoulders will be lifted up because of the anointing. And the God's anointing brings God's power, God's favor, and God's authority to our lives. And I'm here to testify about God's favor in my life. And as we were going through that period, that season, start of this year, each week we are coming back hearing God's favor and practically in front of my eyes, and I was seeing how God's favor works. And firstly, I want to start off with by saying the spiritual dependence. Post-Christmas, when we came back from home, from Christmas to New Year, my son got sick. So terribly sick. He had an urine infection and he had fever continuously for 5 days. During that time, I was shaken. Like Anna said, I think when you have children, you actually grow in patience. And we all know, I think mothers go through what mothers go through when they give birth to the child. It's almost like a born again experience. Not just only for the mothers, I believe, when a child is born, even the father is born. So it was a very difficult time for me. I was in a very distress and I was shaken a bit. And that helped me realize I was not spiritually depending on God. Not in any way, but I did not have the right heart attitude towards my God. I was coming, I was doing service leading in Sundays, etc. But my heart, I felt like I was spiritually low during that season and that time. And there was a lot of spiritual attacks that are happening. To put my situation even further, my sister was going through sickness and doctors recommended her to go and have a cancer test done. And a lot of such situations were there in my life and I don't know what to do, but I realized I was not spiritually depending on God. And that was a season that we fasted for 21 days and prayed. And I realized that I was not spiritually aligned truly to the God and I wanted to fast as well. So I took up 21 days of non-veg fasting, not any other, but I wanted to skip 21 days of non-veg. And then I prayed and we had a lot of worship nights during that time, and I came and I was listening to God and I wanted to put myself back onto God. And during those times, my wife was always there helping me to stay spiritually strong. And we spoke to Pastor and also spoke about our spiritual situation. And he did not give a lecture, he did not give a big mentoring, but he just gave us timely word. One small timely word, and that helped me, encouraged me immensely to come back to God and then spiritually depend on Him. And in fact, that is the time that we also started this How to Read Bible workshop. And as he was encouraged through that, and I was also encouraged, and we made into two groups, and we were reading through a words, right, from the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, and we were reading through Beatitudes. And one of the portion that we were reading, and in fact, last year, Pastor had series of sermons that were spoke on Beatitudes. The first Beatitude is about blessed are the people who are poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And I realized, and I needed to be poor in spirit. I needed to realize my need for God. And I did that, and God helped me during that phase, helped me to come out of it, and helped me to spiritually depend on Him and everything and anything. Right? Spiritual dependence simply means obeying Him, like Pastor said, in all our decisions. A lot of us depend on our own wisdom, knowledge in the times of difficult times and when we need to take decisions and all that. But spiritual dependence is depending on God. Everything in our marriage, in our decisions, in everything, if we can honor God and then depend on Him, God will kind of help you, come to your rescue and lead you and guide you as well. So that is one. Second, during that time again, the house that we were in, so we were staying in the same place, the pastor was staying in the same lane, just opposite to pastor's house. As it is, our rent was high and we were looking for a house because our rent got hiked up 30% in the last 2 years. with whatever rent that we came to that place, it increased 30%, which was way too much to our financial ability. And we were praying. We were looking for a house, and we were discussing as a family, me and wife. We were telling you we need to go for a place where it helps us reduce the 30% hike to at least the same amount. Whatever we are paying right now before we came here, we need to go to the same place, because if we just move to a place with just 10% reduce, it is not going to make any sense for us financially, because when we move, we in the commute to the packets and movers itself, we are going to end up paying so much. If we are only saving that at the end of the year, there's no point moving to a new house. So I told my wife, we need to be saving at least a decent amount for us to make any sense out of this house shifting, because a lot of stuff is there. We end up paying a lot to the packers and movers. If we are not even recovering that, by the end of it makes no sense. So we are praying, and I had a certain amount in mind, and I went around, looked around a lot of places, etc. But we could not find anything. But like I said, right, we were speaking about God's favor, and how God's favor worked is just that Brother Navin shared a vacant house message in the WhatsApp group, and Pastor called, and we immediately reacted and went to that place. Although it was not looking like the way that we wanted, but we took a step of faith, and we paid advance, and then prayed to God, and then just wanted to move there. But how wonderfully God worked everything together, and God brought us to the right place in the right time. The place exactly, I was at the price the way we wanted. How much ever we wanted, how much ever we felt it would be very fitting for us to pay that rent, and it was the house of that. And in fact, the church, the owners were so gracious, and they told also, we're not going to have too much increase each year. Right? And if I have to put it in words, he said only we're going to increase 1K per year. Right? In this area, it is at least 10%, like I said. If I compare, it is not even 5%, it is not even 3%. Right? And that's the grace. And he got us to a place where, there was no TV unit, right? As simple as this, the owner himself ordered a TV unit worth 16,000 rupees. Right? We have a son now, son is growing. And in the current place, the first place where we are, we did not have anybody around. We did not have any families that we could know and take our kid to and then spend time with. But the place that we are living now is a residential place. There are a lot of kids. And more than us, Chris has a lot of friends there. My son has a lot of friends there. Right? He wants to go down and meet friends. And there are people walking into our house, just people of same type, new parents. They also have same kid. And there is a lot of friendship that is growing as well. Right? And more importantly, he's also given me a house with a parking space. Right? I did not have a parking space here, but God gave me a parking space. And when God gives a parking space, I didn't know that God also gives car. God gives a car to put the car there as well, because car has always been a too much of a luxury item for me. I never thought I would need a car. I never thought I would need a car, but my wife encouraged me that we could take a car, we can plan together. So again, during that season, Feb, March, we started praying about it. In one of my visits to Anantapur, in my hometown, my pastor was speaking, and he was speaking about how we need to be faithful towards God and then keep looking forward in our life. So he was speaking about the AC, and he said when God gives an AC, he also gives you a power to pay the bill of the AC. Similarly, I think it got reminded me, okay, if God is helping me to learn driving, I'm sure God is going to give me a vehicle as well, because during that season, my expenses have gone up so much. And I was running every month my home finances with 10,000, 20,000 in deficiency. So I made no sense for me to go for driving classes and to plan about such a big vehicle. I don't know what, but I took a step of faith, and then moved in faith, and then started going for classes. And my heart attitude during this time changed completely to the movement during December, and I thought, okay, God is going to give me a way, and God is going to provide me somehow, and I wanted to see how. I know God is leading me here, and as God is going to provide a vehicle, I just wanted to see how miraculously God will provide. And I think all of you are with me. I don't know whether how good or bad it is. We all daydream, right? And I was daydreaming during that time, how wonderful will it be if somebody will land in front of me with a lot of cash and then give me a cash to buy a car. Right? I was dreaming like this. Right? And as it happened, right, suddenly on one day, some important member of our family walked in front of me and then gave me 4 lakh cash. Just like that. And it happened so miraculously, and we did not even plan. That is not a thing that we ever planned. Just like that, somebody came and then put. Even though, although I was daydreaming about it, I did not want it to just go simply and then take an action. I was waiting March. Me and my wife have a prayer book. We start putting all the things that we want God to answer for us. And we also pray for church as well. And we started writing for car. Right? Come May, God opened up the door, and then God led me. I stay in Kondapur, right? I went to Skoda showroom here. I know Skoda is not of my budget, but God led me one day. I just went there, and that is the only showroom that I ended up going. And I ended up, God blessed me with a car, and I thank God for all the blessings that He has showered in my life as it turned out. So we took the car. So I want to encourage you this morning. Right, if some of you here looking for a job, so if God gave you an education, He's going to bless you with job. All right, if God gave you a spouse, and I am going to tell you, God is going to bless you with children as well. And if God gave you children, God is going to take care of them and is going to fulfill His purpose through their lives as well. So I want to thank God for all the wonderful things that He has done in my life. Right? I told my testimony a lot of times in the past. I'm somebody who come from a small town, and I studied in hostels, free residential hostels all my life. Even my B.Tech that I've done is through the fees reimbursement that I've done. So I came here looking for job in Hyderabad, started very, very small. If I go back to that time and think about what I have now, right? I never imagined a wonderful God leading wife and children, the family, the house, the car. None of these things I never would have imagined. But a God is a God who can give, or who's able to do immeasurably more than what we ask or imagine. So I want all of you, no matter what your situation, no matter where you are a person who are in PG studying, but think about God. God is a God who is able to give immeasurably more than what we ask or imagine. So I thank God for this wonderful blessings in my life. All glory, honor belongs to God and God alone. Thank you. Thank you, church.